A song about people
Proud to
loving.
be American.
Everybody's trying to silence me. I'm the only
And
one that knows the truth. Nobody can prove me wrong.
when I say my thoughts as if they're facts, and then you turn facts on to me, I'll say that you're nitpicking. Da, ba, da.
Nitpicking. You don't know what you're talking about. Everybody's trying to silence me. First Amendment and stuff. Oh.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Nobody Asked Woo! With Lumberjack Maria.
Oh, that is me. I'm a lumberjack.
Is she a lumberjack still? I don't know. And also
Yeah.
Colin Brink, comedian extraordinaire. Take his class on how to do comedy at a random apartment 40 blocks north of here. I did it. It was fun. And if we want, I can do the presentation again today. Who cares? Okay. That'd be fun.
It would be fun, but also weird.
Weird. Let me teach you how to write a joke, okay? Because some of you don't know. Today we're talking about my best friend. We go way back. We're college buddies. It's RFK Jr. Yeah, we're big homies, unless you point out that we're not, in which case I'll say the essence of what I'm saying is true. It's RFK Jr. He's had some weird headlines, but he's making them.
Yes.
And so, I mean, that's a win for him. And we're going to talk about him. And that's probably going to give him a bump in the polls. He's getting a debate.
Exactly. We're the ones that are going to just throw him over the top.
That's what I'm thinking. It's nobody. This is going to be like our Sovereign Citizens episode, right? This one's blowing up, and people are going to have thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, maybe, probably not though. But who knows? You know, he's a character.
Go. Yeah, he's related. This is true to John F. Kennedy.
Well, yeah, it's his uncle.
Crazy. Yes. So, Mom, how's your week been?
It's been pretty good. We sold the camper, so now there's a big empty spot where our camper used to be.
Woo!
It's weird.
Yep.
But it's good. Hopefully we'll have something there by the time you guys get here. Where you can stay when you visit.
We're thinking the Peter Anderson Festival for when we come down. So I don't know how realistic a timeline that is, but
I don't either.
I just feel like wiring up AC and electricity to any building. Uh-oh, that turned on Siri for some reason. Please, Siri, turn off. Could you hear me during that?
Yeah, I didn't hear Siri at all.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to work out, but who cares?
Well, working out one way or another.
Hey,
it'll be fun.
I'll stay with. We've got family there. Maybe I'll stay with the person with my boss, who I have his contact on my phone, and I think he just started sharing location with everybody in his contact list. But now I can see where he is at all times, and it pops up when I text him, and I'm like, oh, you're getting a burger, I find that so weird.
That's very
that
unusual.
People share, well, and it's super common in my age group. Like people's idea of privacy is very different now, and so some people just they just throw it out there. They don't care. It started with Snapchat maps, where everyone would just let you see where they are on Snapchat. So if they ever used Snapchat, it would change where their little thing was. But now you can share your location on the old iPhone. And I've got random people sharing their location with me. And I'm like, all right, guess I know where you are, Usually not interesting, sometimes interesting. I don't share my location with anyone. So
I like to share when I'm traveling. Just,
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, when I had the motorcycle, I shared it with Ellie. But I was a little bit worried that it would have a counterintuitive effect because it doesn't update regularly. And the idea was that she'd be able to see if I was, a scrape on the side of the road, right? Like my thing would stop moving and that would flag her to call somebody. but it doesn't update regularly enough. So it would seem like I was stopped on the highway for 10 to 30 minutes. And that would be cause for concern.
Whoops.
So yeah. Whoopsies. Let me just make sure that I haven't changed my door. Okay. I just popped open a bag of chips that was under my chair. Whoopsie daisies. Didn't know that was there. It was in my backpack. Yeah, Ellie might come back, so I just want to make sure that she can get in. Okay. My week was great. I went to a movie. I gave a presentation on how to be funny as a subject matter expert, and on how to write a joke with no background, with no idea to start with. So it's like an anti-writer's block method for writing a joke. And in order to prove the concept, I gave myself 5 minutes to write a joke about the event where I gave the presentation, and they killed. So that was great. It helped that because I walked them through the process, going through the process gave them the setup, which was like what I was thinking. And so I was able to go like, okay, the setup is I'm going to a PowerPoint party. And so now I have to think about what are the expectations of a PowerPoint party, and one of the of that setup, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the expectations is like I'm going to the PowerPoint party in order to watch or give a PowerPoint presentation. That seems like a realistic assumption. So how do we turn that assumption on its head? I'm going to do something different at the PowerPoint party. And so I ended up landing on I'm going to the PowerPoint party to commit an act of domestic terrorism.
Oh, no.
And so the full joke was I'm going to a PowerPoint party tonight and I don't plan on coming back. And that ripped. That they loved it, especially because they lived through it. So
okay.
That was fun. Good stuff. Yeah. So today we're going to talk about RFK Jr. and today's episode fittingly is sponsored by RFK Jr. Oh, please let me debate Biden. Please let me debate anyone. It's like the thing that I'm good at. I'm good at bad faith debates. Please let me do it. RFK Jr. So yeah.
Where do we even start with him?
I don't know. He's a Kennedy, so he's already grandfathered in or uncled in to.
He has name recognition for sure.
Yes, he's where nepotism and conspiracy align. That RFK Jr. And what's interesting is that he's coming to the zeitgeist. There's two Democratic nominees who or people that would like to primary Joe Biden, and I think that both of us agree that we would love for someone to primary Joe Biden as well. Yeah?
Not really.
Feels
like a waste of time.
Oh my God, he's so old, Mom. This was the whole point. Was that this was what we said when the election happened. Is we were like, we have got to go. All right, this was a one-off to beat Trump. Trump's out of office. He has got to not run again. Because he's a billion. He's a billion years old.
He is a billion. He's a billion. While I understand everything you're saying, I have always kind of been one of those the devil that you know kind of people. And I know what he's going to do. I understand him. It feels so risky to even throw somebody else into the mix and to undermine what he's already done, because that's what it's going to do. It's just going to undermine him for me. So that's my only reasoning. I'm satisfied with what he's doing.
I too, I'm gonna out myself to my leftist buddies, but I too am pretty good with what he's doing. I think he's done a good president. I'm loving his presidenting. However, I think he's still a weak candidate, and the concept. I mean that. Think about how irregular it is just from jump here for a president to get elected and from the beginning of his presidency for him to be like, I haven't decided if I'm running again. That's not how presidents are. But why, right? Because last election, This was all of the discussion, is that he's fallen upstairs. The man cannot string together a sentence. The problem was that the dementia argument of Biden, it had just enough credence. Now, look, he's doing better than
Venus.
a lot of
Venus has got some feelings right now.
Hey, man, I'll talk to Venus. Look, it's in Venus's name. They're militant, and I too am militant, so I'm right there with you. But and well, I'll leave up the "and you're wrong" because I'm open to debate on this. He had a stutter cut. Have you watched these? That I've watched full addresses. Okay, he's not as bad as Republicans say. He is not nearly as good of a speaker as he was 20 years ago. I mean, Biden was a hilarious, charismatic speaker, and now he's just hilarious and charismatic. I'm all about the guy. I think that he's done great things. I think that I think that the infrastructure package is undervalued by leftists. I think that he is actually trying to do something about student loan forgiveness, even though he's having to deal with some back and forth on it. I think that it would be better for him to cancel all interest payments on student loans. But I'm not the president. I am not the president here. The man had a life of service, a stutter, and morals. Yeah, for 60 years. Let the dude retire. Okay, we have a country of 300 million people. Some of them are Democrats. Actually, most. So many of them have political experience, and so many of them could be presidents that I think that aren't 80.
I think if he hadn't said he was running for re-election, I would be down. I'd be like, find the best candidate, but you're not going to find the best candidate under these circumstances. The real good ones are not going to show up for this kind of thing. They're just going to throw their support for him. That's what they're going to do. Okay,
yeah. So you're speaking pragmatically. That my problem, of course, is that the two people that are primarying Biden are morons. But and so I'm still.
I don't want to call RFK Jr. a moron.
Riding with Biden. Okay, I'm still planning on riding with Biden. You wouldn't call RFK a moron? Fair enough. A moron's over the top. He's an opportunist conspiracy theorist, and certainly after we've been all holier than thou for the last 8 years about Republicans and their bogus fucking claims about election fraud, I certainly don't want to elect somebody that thought, of all people, John Kerry won the 2004 election. And John Kerry, bro,
it's very interesting that that's the election he had a problem with. And it wasn't like there was no reason for him to have some concern. So there was some shenanigans in Ohio where there were really long lines, the touchscreen, ballot systems. Sometimes they didn't have enough of them there, and it seemed pretty on purpose, like that. Particularly in Black neighborhoods, the lines were so long that people were just giving up on voting. So, I can understand that. But again, the Democrats did their own investigation of this, and they found, there was some shenanigans, but nothing that would have changed the results of the election. And I think those findings always matter to me because, fix whatever problems exist. Use this as information for future elections. But if it didn't change the results, then you got to move on, man. You got to move on. And he hasn't moved on from John Kerry and George W. Bush. Keeping in mind, that was the second election of George W. Bush.
Not the Dinkling Shads debate, which we talked about on this very podcast. No,
not the Dinkling.
It's very interesting. I'm with you that this situation isn't going to bring out the best candidates. Oh my gosh, we're getting Brooke Bailey. Is this our first comment from Brooke Bailey?
I think so. Hi, Brooke.
Hey, Brooke. Hello to everybody. Thank you to Ashley for telling everybody to hit that like button. I'm with you that we're not going to get the best candidates here, but it's the same sort of logic that allowed people to just look past when everyone dropped out of the race for Super Tuesday.
I didn't look past that. I'm still mad.
No. This is what I'm saying is that your logic there, I'm with you. The Democratic establishment has kept better candidates from getting to the primary. And right now, it's the same sort of situation. As soon as Biden says that he's going to run again, the Democratic establishment, in order to prevent, there being a real competition that weakens the party in the general election, has prevented good candidates from primarying Biden. But we want good candidates to primary Biden. I understand that the weakness element is significant, especially when we're concerned about Trump. I actually think that Trump is a weaker candidate in 24 than he was in 20, and he lost in 20. But I do think that. But I also think that every Democrat has a certain amount of trauma around dismissing Trump in 2016, where everyone was just so high on Clinton before that 2016 election that now Trump could be actually dead, and Democrats would be like, he could still win. I think it could still happen, because we were all traumatized by that, and I totally get it. Somebody should have primaried Biden. We're gonna end up with Biden. I'm saying that we should not want this. We should be in favor of maximum ages for presidents. That one California senator should not be a senator anymore, because people over 80 should not be running our country, especially when the country is changing as rapidly as it is, right? We need real legislation around AI, right? We need to figure out how we're going to live with rapidly expanding automation. And you know who I don't want doing that? The people that still can't figure out email, bro. So,
well, it's interesting that you bring up AI, because RFK Jr. brings up AI too. He talks about how AI, if we don't start having some plans around AI, that it is going to become a totalitarian government run by AI, which is kind of a little bit weird and interesting. Some of his conspiracies, I think what's interesting about it is he starts off with an interesting premise and a thought that makes you go, oh man, that's a good point. And it sounds really like he might know something. He sounds intelligent when he talks about things, but then he takes a hard pick a direction, left, right, up, down. He makes a hard turn on whatever it is he's talking about, because he claims he's a Democrat, and he's not completely not a Democrat, but he's sort of his own thing. And there's a part of me that respects that, right? You need to be doing what you believe is correct over what the party says. I am 100% on board with that notion. He's an environmental lawyer. He has cleaned up the Hudson Bay, or the Hudson River. He's very responsible for that. Like, that was him.
Yep. And it is cleaner. I tell you what, you can swim in that thing now. It's wild.
Yeah. But he's also done some things where you're like, I don't know, man. So I don't know if you know about this, but back in 1975, there was a murder. Martha Moxley was murdered. And for the longest time, his cousin, Michael Skakel, was who they thought did it. And, many years after the fact, Michael Skakel was convicted of it for 10 years. And then he ended up, after serving, 11 years, he ended up getting it thrown out on appeal for for having a shoddy defense, basically. And RFK Jr. was one of his cousin's biggest proponents, saying, I know he didn't do it. And he came up with two other, suspects. He's like, I think it's these two dudes. He wrote an entire book about it, right? And if you followed any of that true crime stuff, it's kind of, Michael Skakel really did look pretty guilty. Like, maybe you had like a sprinkling of, I don't know, but also he looks pretty guilty, you know what I mean? And so he came off to me a little bit like, oh, this guy is so idealistic. How lovely that he cares about his cousin so much that he can suspend disbelief like that. And man, I get that, man. I get that. I feel like I'm looking in the mirror sometimes, because I'm that person a lot, where I want to suspend disbelief until you have proven to me without a doubt that it hasn't happened. Like this woman in Alabama who, her name's Carly, right? Carly Russell. She went missing after calling 911 and saying there's a toddler in a diaper on the interstate, right? And then she just disappears off the interstate. And then we find out, everybody's like, this doesn't make any sense. This is shenanigans on her part, and I'm not going to go jump down the shenanigans until you prove to me it's shenanigans, right? But so, and it was shenanigans.
Oh, what was it? So I only heard the first step of it. In real, also, I've got to talk to people in the comments, but I also know we want to talk about RFK Jr., so I'm with you. But what happened? Okay, let me just write down everything I'd like to do. All right. Number one, what happened with that lady in Alabama?
Carly Russell?
Yeah. What was the shenanigans? Because I heard about her disappearing. I didn't hear anything else.
So she calls 911, but the police were able to kind of get her steps right up into the point of her disappearing, right? Right up. They got everything of what her movements were. She goes and she goes to Target and she buys some snacks. She gets some food at a restaurant, right? And then when she goes missing, her wig's in the car, her phone's in the car, her purse is in the car. Her snacks are not in the car. She took her snacks. Why'd she take her snacks?
Yeah.
And it could be that she, I don't know. It's just that the police have finally gotten to a point where they're kind of saying this is not what it seemed like. It doesn't appear that she was kidnapped. Was she running away for a legitimate reason to get out of a bad relationship that she couldn't think of a better way to get out of? I don't know. I don't know what her motives were. There was some weirdness about her stealing toilet paper and a bathrobe from wherever she works. I mean, there was just all this just weird stuff. Yeah. And she was Googling Amber Alerts, and
she hasn't been found though.
Oh no, she's found. So she showed back up. A few days later, she just walked back to her parents' house. They call the police. She gets a medical evaluation. They're saying, okay, she's been traumatized. She was fighting for her life for the last 48 hours. Let's give her a minute, before we download everything that happened, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it ain't right. Now, listen, sometimes people really do come home after something like that, and they come and knock on the door. There have been real cases where somebody has been held against their will, and that has happened. But there's also cases where that's not what happened, right? This is
it reminds me of Casey Anthony a little bit, like the very beginning of the Casey Anthony case, where she was talking about the babysitter, and just like the nonchalance of the whole situation, but they're like, oh yeah, this absolutely all terrible things happen. Casey Anthony's crazy. Okay. So that's
a sidetrack. That's a sidetrack. I'm just saying, that's just a case of, I don't like jumping the gun on people. And I don't think RFK Jr. does either. He likes to believe in people much longer than he should. He says things like, I'm glad that even though I don't agree with a lot of the things that Trump does, that he still thinks of me as a friend, that he still likes me. I like that. He thinks that he is a uniter and reaching across the aisle, because that was kind of what his dad did and what his uncle did, right? He thinks that these are great attributes, and they are great attributes, right? Normally they would be, but right now it all feels suspicious because we are such a polarized nation. Just reaching across the aisle feels like, what deals are you making? Why are these people backing you? These people don't do anything without a reason. And are you either in on it or too stupid to recognize that you're being used? So that's what I worry about. When you see the people that are on his side, that are rooting for him,
Is it a bunch of like tech bros?
Tech bros love him. Okay. So tech bros love him. And it partially has to do with Bitcoin and his feelings about Bitcoin. He thinks that they should be exempt from capital gains tax.
Oh no, Venus is leaving. I wanted to respond to Venus, and I feel bad if Venus is calling. Damn it.
I don't remember the kidnapped by the truck bar. So he thinks that Bitcoin should be exempt from capital gains tax when you try to convert it to US dollars. So okay. That's part of it. And I think when we talked about some of that stuff about gold, and how our money is not currently backed by gold. It's backed by the effectiveness of our economy. And he wants to back stuff with gold again. So it's interesting that he's one of those guys to me, and that he's got, I think maybe around 250K in his family trust is in Bitcoin, which isn't an over the top amount for somebody who probably has a lot more money than that. But it's interesting how often people are trying to hide what feels like hide money via Bitcoin, hide assets. He also has a lot in real estate as well. And if you're if you're a different kind of conspiracy theorist, and you like I am, a different kind, and you think, man, everybody that's buying up all of the land and so that nobody can afford to live, to me, that's an important commodity. And you're buying up gold and you're buying up Bitcoin. And it feels like you're doing things to make our economy not run well, like you're preparing for the end of our economy and helping it along. I can't help but feel like it's for your own gain. But that's just me. Do I think tech bros are out for their own gain? Of course.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
of course.
Sure. But then there's the interesting conspiracies that he falls into, where you're like, okay, see, it makes you think. It makes you more confused about whether or not he is like a good faith bad actor, like his opinions on vaccines, not just COVID-19. I mean, he used to be more of an autism anti-vaxxer, and then he still sort of professes it.
He still
but then
is.
These sort of weird like racial conspiracies that he's touted with COVID-19 are very strange, and makes me feel more like he's actually just got a screw loose and isn't a smart bad faith actor. I mean, with what he
I don't know, man. Okay, so he has said, when we're talking about the COVID vaccine, so everybody calls him an anti-vaxxer, and he gets pretty mad about it because he feels like that's a method of discrediting anything he has to say, is by claiming he's an anti-vaxxer. He says he's not an anti-vaxxer. All of his kids are vaccinated, and he's got quite a few kids. But he really has some issues with. Listen, he's one of those people that does feel like there's a connection between autism and vaccines, particularly, I believe it's called the miprazole. I don't know. It was a preservative that they used to use in vaccines a lot. It's largely been phased out, but he feels like that in vaccines is what has contributed to the vast number of autism people on the spectrum that have happened, since the 80s. That we didn't see these kinds of numbers before. And it's not just now, because we now have we have a new diagnostic criteria that we didn't used to have. He feels like that's hogwash. You can tell when somebody has autism. It's like he's kind of said some little stupid things with regard to that.
Yep.
Because listen, we all know it's much more complicated than that. That's why it's a spectrum. But so when you talk about vaccines, that's where he is on regular vaccines. But he has issues with the COVID vaccine. And the belief that COVID is a manufactured version of the virus that we're getting, and that it was genetically engineered to ethnically target Black and white people, and that Ashkenazi Jews and the Chinese are spared from the worst symptoms. This is his belief.
Very specific set of Jews is one interesting element of that, but also like not true. I mean, at least the Jewish part, super not true in practice, in that most of the superclusters in New York were Ashkenazi Jews and Hasidic Jews in New York.
Well, so you're going to need to prove that to him, because he said nobody has been able to prove him wrong on any claim he's ever made. He says he is very open to being corrected and to changing his opinions on things, but nobody can ever prove him wrong on this stuff. And I will say, they like to use this Ashkenazi Jew and Chinese thing as proof that he's racist or anti-Semitic in some way. And I don't think that that's fair, personally. Just because he used Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese and saying that they were spared isn't proof that he is inherently racist. I don't think that's what's happening. This is literally part of his conspiracy that he believes because he has seen some proof somewhere that has proven to him that this genetically engineered version of COVID is targeting Black and white people. So,
okay. Here's my question. If you're saying it's targeting Black and white people, then why do you point out Jews on the opposite side? Because we're dealing with more races than Chinese people and Jews. Now, I think that the argument for Chinese people is the origin of the virus. And so that makes me think you're less racist. But then with what I think is increased popularity of anti-Semitism, pulling out data of Ashkenazi Jews, and I actually haven't. That I've seen the claim. I have not seen him point to anything as far as the Ashkenazi Jew element of this whole thing makes me think that there is an anti-Semitic reason that he's bringing it up.
Well, if you tell him that, he's going to tell you that nobody has done more for the, the nation of Israel than he has. And I don't know what that means. I haven't tried to delve into what he's done for the nation of Israel to prove that he's not anti-Semitic. But more importantly, he's saying that this isn't racist because he's not trying to say one race is better than the other. He's saying that this is an ethnically targeted disease.
Okay.
So weird. It just sounds weird.
It's just not a concept worthy of debate. So when we're talking about scientific concepts, that this is what's frustrated me about the RFK Jr. controversy with Joe Rogan, where they're putting up money to debate with vaccine researchers. And it's what's frustrated me about all of this is like that conspiracy theorists have figured out this system. And I say they figured it out, but they've really stolen it from evangelical Christians that engage in bad faith arguments with atheists. They figured out this system for legitimizing claims that aren't worthy of debate. Certain claims, mathematical claims, scientific claims are worthy of debate, but debate needs a certain context. And the scientific method is a context by which debate occurs and by which concepts are tested. And peer-reviewed papers disagree with each other sometimes, but that this is a method of debate and a method of ensuring that there's a certain rigor to which claims are made. And so then when you pull it back to when you go, oh, I would like to debate in the marketplace of ideas, I'd like to debate this vaccine researcher, but you're not going to go through it by any sort of debate process. You're not going to go through it, for example, through the process of a trial where evidence needs to be disclosed by both sides so that it can be argued and the evidence can be tried before it is put in front of a jury that evaluates the two arguments, right? That's one format of debate, because something that conspiracy theorists will do is that they will throw out information, air quotes, they'll throw out stats and information which they know that they've made up at such an incredible volume without allowing advanced preparation of the opposing side. And so one side, in this case, the scientists that are arguing for vaccines have held themselves to a certain degree of truth, to the fact that their stats come from somewhere. And then when they prepared their talking points against the people they're arguing against, they pull from talking points these other people have said in the past, and they might be prepared for 5 or 10 of these talking points. But the thing about a conspiracy theorist is they can say, oh, well, what about the cluster of autism that came out in Johannesburg in 2018? Well, if there's no advanced preparation in a debate, it's absolutely impossible to say anything other than, I simply haven't seen that. Here's what I am arguing. All these other points you've brought up in the past, you have a trend of making up these pieces of information, which can only lead me to the idea that whatever you're bringing up right now is also made up. However, right now it's impossible for me to say that. And they go, see, they can't disprove my claims. And this is what religious people do in arguments with atheists. And this is what anti-vaxxers and conspiracy theorists and election deniers do in arguments with good faith actors in those realms. So this is my complaint about RFK Jr. in general, is just that he wants to bring it to an in-person debate, but an unmoderated, no format type of debate, one where you're not required to have your evidence go up to scrutiny before the debate begins, because they know that the scruples of that type of system are going to completely undermine any of their points, because they know that their points aren't real. And that this is my complaint.
when I step back and think that he was an environmental lawyer, right? And so he was getting proof of some of these things. I'm sure that he needed to do environmental law. Like he's got a problem with the EPA. He says the EPA is owned by petroleum companies and chemical companies and polluters, which it doesn't feel completely inaccurate. The EPA has a job that it needs to do, but it does not do it well. It's got a lot of obstacles in its ability to do what it is supposed to do, where it does have to actually work with, it has to work with the petroleum companies to try to get them to clean stuff up. It has to work with chemical companies. And there's so much litigation. It's tedious what the EPA has to do. So I can see where, being an environmental lawyer, he could get sort of sucked into conspiracies. He could get sucked into these weird details. Like I think all of us have some level of fear of our drinking water, and that hormones or chemicals, could be doing something to our bodies long term, right? But we don't go so far as to say things like our sexual identity and our gender confusion is because of the chemicals in the water. And RFK Jr. does say that. He says it's atrazine in the water and that it's an endocrine disruptor, and it will turn male frogs can become females pretty easily with atrazine, realizing humans are not the same as frogs, but that doesn't mean that there would be no effect on us. And, it's very Alex Jones, it's turning the frogs gay kind of energy when you talk about things like this. And because he's an environmental lawyer, it gives it a little bit of credence, but also it's not all the way there. And it's problematic. It's like I wish somebody would take care of and want to really clean all the water. I just don't think he can really do it. I don't think making him president will mean that suddenly there's clean water in Flint, Michigan. I don't believe it will happen. I don't. I think he's going to be hamstrung by people that are going to use him to do some of these other stupid things that benefit them.
Yeah, and he's going to run into the same hurdles as other positive actors, which is just that you need to work with the other branches of the federal government. And, I just like the thing that frustrates me about RFK Jr. is that I think a lot of people have been asking for a candidate that is truly an independent and that is not party affiliated in this sort of way for a while. And Bernie was that in a way, except that he was in the American view of politics, a far left version of that. This guy is in many ways actually a centrist. I mean, he has hardline views. He has a bunch of leftist views and a bunch of right views, but that's what most centrists in America are. And so what's frustrating about him is that the one that we got is a conspiracy theorist. And that's what bugs me, because I go through his policies online, and I think that I probably disagree with him about the same amount as I disagree with the average Republican, but I'm interested in the fact that he has like strongly liberal ideas and strongly conservative ideas. I think that that's a more interesting way of having politics go here. But it's just, unfortunately, he's an election denier. He's got terrible ideas about vaccines. I'm concerned that he's an anti-Semite. I am concerned about a number of things that he's saying.
I don't know that he's an anti-Semite, though.
I don't understand where he's getting this idea that it doesn't affect, that it was tailored to not affect Ashkenazi Jews, Mom.
I don't know where he got it either. I don't think that he made it up. He got it from somewhere.
That's what I'm saying, is that he didn't get it from somewhere. That's my concern, is that it came from nowhere, and I think that he's trying to capitalize on certain anti-Semitic movements. Because I've looked through multiple of these things, and maybe I'm not finding good sources on what he's saying, but I can't find anything that's pointing to what he's saying. I can't even find the conspiracy paper that's pointing to what he's saying. So this is what's concerning to me, is that he might have found something which I've found that is like, that this is targeting black people, right? He might have found that, and then he chose to also highlight Ashkenazi Jews and the other side, when in America, many of the superclusters were Jewish people, were Ashkenazi Jew and Hasidic Jew populations here.
Right, because
the
they're
opposite
not,
data.
Right, because they're a close community. They're
a
very
close community that is almost equally anti-vax and anti-mask as he is.
right.
And so this is what frustrates me, is that he's that. And also I don't know what to pull from the fact that I can't find this information other than he's pointing out Jews for some reason, which is that they're part of the big instrument, which I think is an anti-Semitic idea, that they're part of the big cabal. They're part of the big, conspiracy that's putting fluoride in the water and shit. So
exactly, they're poisoning us for sure. That is, there is a group of people that believes that kind of weird stuff. It's very strange to me. Another thing that he said, though, he also said that he believed Fauci and Bill Gates were exaggerating the pandemic to promote the vaccine. I guess to make money on it. That we need to promote this vaccine. He said, that no vaccines in America have safety studies on them, which I think is pretty. It's not true, but he says nobody can prove it wrong.
Yeah, but this is not a get out of jail free card to just say no one can prove you wrong. People do prove him wrong all the time. It's just that he then says that people are nitpicking numbers. This is what Christians do. This is
you have to. Just like he also says that he thinks the reason we have so many school shootings here is because of antidepressants and the pharmaceutical company. Listen, I'm all with let's shit on pharmaceutical companies, but I don't think it's antidepressants that are making people shoot people up. I think you need to connect those dots for me. And he's not connected them sufficiently. He's saying countries like, I believe, Sweden have similar gun ownership than we do. They do not. But he says that the numbers prove they do. That is not what the numbers prove at all. But that's what he says. Nobody can prove him wrong. And they don't have, a shooting every 21 minutes, a school shooting every 21 minutes or whatever it is, a mass shooting. Maybe it's a mass shooting every 21 minutes. That's my problem, is he is so convinced he's right. He's also convinced that he's being silenced all the time. And it's like, I hear you. You just sound nuts. But also I think that he actually cares about people. You know what I mean? I think he legitimately thinks these things. I think he cares about people. I just think that people are going to use him and manipulate him because he's clearly manipulatable. Some of this stuff is crazy. It's nuts. He doesn't think that Sirhan killed his dad, even though that guy confessed to it. He has since then said, I was hypnotized. I didn't really do it. But I mean, that also sounds silly. He says that the CIA was involved in the assassination of JFK. It's weird to think that. I mean, it's weird to think that about your own family member, but I don't know, man. I guess if you live in a conspiracy your entire life, you see conspiracies everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, he thinks that. Well, he thinks that JFK was so anti-war that the intelligence agencies were involved in his assassination because JFK had decided that he wanted to dismantle the CIA and the FBI because they were warmongers. So
he thinks that Biden is a warmonger as well, which is interesting to me. I'm not going to debate that necessarily. I just think it's an interesting take to think of Biden through that lens, that he's pro-war. The only negative thing that I heard, now I only listened to so much of him. But the only negative thing I heard him say about Donald Trump was that he's a bully, and he didn't like bullies. Like, okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's pretty. That's damning in its own way. That he would have that sort of a problem with Biden, but then only say that Trump is a bully. Oh well, I don't know. That it's just, I just wish there was a better candidate. But I felt like we were all saying when Biden got elected, like, all right, but we got to make sure he doesn't run again, and now he is, and that's my point. Also, this vaccine conversation in the comments is distracting me.
And there's a lot going on there.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
A lot of, I'm not going to say misinformation, but I'm not going to say misinformation. And, self-confirmatory bias and anecdotal evidence and all sorts of things that I find frustrating.
Well, the world's weird right now. People are sick. That's another thing that RFK Jr. said. He said our country in history has never been as sick as it is right now. I don't know if that's true, but it feels true. But I don't know this. I don't know if he's just basing it on the fact that everybody just feels like there's something wrong with them, or if it's real. Because I don't know, man. Oh, he likes to talk about plastics in the water and stuff like that. Like all things that I think people actually have real concerns about. People are concerned about plastics. They are concerned about all of these things. But it's just, he just takes it to such a point. So you said that you were on his website, right? His election portal. No, that's not where it was. Not his election portal. It was somebody else. What did you call it?
Sorry, I lost you for a second. I heard you said you were on his website, which I don't.
Like earlier today, I think you were on his website, but now it wasn't his website. It was something else. It was a different site. Like,
the isidewith.com. Okay. Yeah, I can show it right now. I think it's kind of interesting.
Does isidewith.com, does it do like all candidates?
Does all candidates, yep.
Okay.
I mean, I think that there's sort of a minimum threshold, but it has all the different candidates for the presidential elections. And it's super easy to consume because it really is just like, what is your stance? And here's what they've responded. And it tries, it takes a very AP sort of standpoint on it. It tries to say almost exactly what they say. These days to get it.
So his stance on abortion is he's pro-choice, but a ban after the first 3 months. I would love an expansion on what ban means because, again,
I mean, it's very, that's actually very similar to what the original Roe v. Wade was, except that the original Roe v. Wade had, after 3 months, the states decide. And so, yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting fence-sitting position. I think it's bad, but I don't know. I've talked about abortion enough on this podcast to know that people have strong opinions. Who'd have thought? Should gay couples have the same adoption rights? Yes. We've got a lot of COVID stuff. Let the virus naturally run its course. If only it would. More old people. I mean, yeah. It would have been really good for Democrats to do that at this point.
Should the government enforce a stay-at-home order to combat the coronavirus? No. I mean, we sort of did a half-assed job of that to begin with, or it might have worked. Who knows?
Oh yeah, we tried. I think that if you graph outcomes, like holistic outcomes of the pandemic, the y-axis is the positivity of the outcome. And then the x-axis is the amount of stay-at-home restrictions that you impose. I think that it was a valley. I think that there was a very significant upside to a very strict stay-at-home if the entire planet was able to do it. But it was impossible, especially in this country full of idiots. And so at this point, I'm like, yep, we shouldn't have done anything. We should have just let all the old people die. It would have been really sad, but at least everyone would have gone to school or some shit. It's a very pessimistic worldview on all of these people. Should employers be required to pay men and women the same salary for the same job? Yes, and businesses should be required to publish their salary ranges for each position.
Ooh, I like that.
Fuck yeah.
Tell me up front.
Hell yeah, absolutely. Support legalization of same-sex marriage, yes. Impeachment of Donald Trump, yes. Should marital rape be classified and punished as severely as non-marital rape? Yes, and consensual sex with a spouse under the age of 18 should be classified as statutory rape. Gang, dude.
Fuck even though it's your spouse. Okay? Interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Also, why did that question come up?
because it's legitimately debated among Republicans. So
I mean, it's just so specific to me.
I think that you'd be surprised how common this question is and how much trepidation there is in the Republican Party on it, on whether or not marital rape. No, on whether or not marital rape should be classified and punished as severely as non-marital rape. Because a lot of Republicans don't think marital rape is real.
Right.
So
submit.
Yeah, it's a weird question to ask.
Your body's not yours
anymore. There's a pretty united front on it. But I do think it's interesting that he brought up this additional issue, which is that statutory rape has a loophole for all of these super Christians that marry, 14.
But not for him. But not for him, which I like.
What?
He said that it's still rape, even if it's your spouse and they're under 18.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should police officers be required to wear body cameras? Absolutely. It's crazy that anyone has a different opinion right now. Will you get the COVID-19 vaccine? No. Should the president of the United States have the power to deploy military troops in order to stop protests? No. I think that's very interesting. But this is from the RFK voter base, so that you'll see the ones that aren't highlighted are not something that they've actually gotten a statement from him. It's from the voter base.
What does that mean?
Should the government regulate the prices of life-saving drugs? Yes, and the government should regulate the price of all prescription drugs.
What? The government regulating stuff? It's interesting that he's okay with the government regulating anything, because that's one of those things he's pretty wishy-washy on for me. Like, I believe he was today before Congress speaking at the weaponization of the federal government hearings.
Mm-hmm.
And so, he doesn't like that he gets silenced all the time on social media, and he feels like the government asks social media to basically make him look like a kook.
I mean, let's be good faith here. That's a completely different argument. Whether or not the government should regulate First Amendment rights on private social media sites versus
I'm just surprised that he thinks they should regulate anything.
It's not a this is the thing, is that he's actually not really a very easily boxed candidate. He's like a real independent.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with him on those 2 points, right? Like, sure. Absolutely, the federal government should not be telling Twitter what to take off, especially some of the shit that they were telling Twitter to take off with respect to RFK. It was like, yeah, this is an overreach of the federal government. Now, the thing is, the question was whether or not it was the government making whether it was like the government making a request or whether or not it was individuals making a request. Like, should government individuals have the same individual right to report harassment, for example? Or will it be seen as government overreach? These are real interesting debates.
That is an interesting question.
Because we all have the right to tell Twitter that we're being harassed and to take things down. But when there's the power of the federal government behind an individual saying they're harassed, do they lose that right because it appears to be the government restricting First Amendment things? Even if the government's super specific, there will be no legislation taken, right? All these people have fingers in different cookie jars in terms of like policies that are made that affect Twitter. So is Twitter going to feel like they're being strong-armed? These are interesting conversations. Should the government continue to fund Planned Parenthood? Yes, because their service. He's got interesting stuff. Healthcare insurers be allowed to deny coverage to individuals who have a pre-existing condition?
What?
Yes, because it drives up costs for everyone. Uh-oh.
What's this shit? That's a terrible take on his part.
But he's all over the place, dude. He's a real independent. I disagree with him a lot. And yet I'm like, this is crazy. He's pro-regulation of prescription drugs, but he's against requiring the insurance of pre-existing conditions. Interesting.
Wow.
Was this election conducted fairly? Yes. Should the state government order schools to provide online-only classes in order to combat coronavirus? No. I mean, a lot of this is like about during the pandemic, which I find no longer interesting. Should the federal government institute a mandatory buyback of assault weapons? No. Increase mental health and background checks instead. Okay.
He's also said, that if he was president, if a bill came before him that passed through Congress and the Senate that was bipartisan, that was going to limit assault rifles, then he would sign it. But that would be the only way he would sign it. He wouldn't be trying to shove through any legislation on his own to ban assault rifles.
Yeah.
Which I understand where he's coming
from. Should people under the age of 18 be able to receive gender transition treatments? No, they should not be allowed to make irreversible life decisions. Increase funding for mental health research. Yes, our mental health care system needs more funding to provide higher quality of care and services. I don't know. I'm just like,
but not pharmaceuticals, because that'll make you into a mass shooter. Just saying. He thinks antidepressants are making everybody nuts. He specifically talks about Prozac, and I don't know how many people are really prescribed Prozac these days. But
I was prescribed Prozac.
And
I'll tell you what, I agree. In my experience with Prozac, I was on Prozac for 4 days, and then I was not, because I had to go to mental care and be like, I want to kill someone, so this is not working. And I was like, the thing I came to you for help with, it's so much worse. Please help. So yeah. Look, man,
and if you had killed somebody,
but we've got some.
If you had killed somebody right after being on Prozac, I would be with you. But I don't think I've ever heard any news outlet tell me that any mass shooting happened and that person was on Prozac.
But who is in the pocket of the news outlets, Mom?
Well, that's what RFK would like to tell you as well. He's like, they're not telling you everything. Listen, the media they're making money too. They're trying to get eyeballs in front of the screen. They're going to put the stories that they think will do that and the spin that they think will do that as well. So, nothing is completely honest and fully unbiased. It's not. You definitely got to consider the motives of what you're listening to.
Look, I would, if we ever wanted to do a book club on antidepressants and their effect, I'm willing to, because Ellie and I have some pretty strong opinions on that, which might make some people think that we're in a conspiracy camp. So that's cool. But hey, it's fine.
Sure.
Should they reopen? Should a business be able to deny service to a customer if the request conflicts with the owner's religious beliefs? We totally should have talked about this on a podcast, by the way.
That's too broad of a question.
It is too broad. I agree, although it is essentially what the Supreme Court just ruled on. And what's important, again, is that the Supreme Court did not rule on whether or not it can decide to serve people that conflict with their religious beliefs. For example, not being willing to serve gay people, which is what a lot of people have broken down the Supreme Court ruling to be. It's on whether or not the request specifically violates their religious beliefs. So, for example, if a gay couple came in asking for a birthday cake, the Supreme Court did not say that they can deny service to the gay couple. However, if the gay couple comes in and asks that they make a wedding cake that celebrates a gay marriage, then there's a question of whether or not the Supreme Court ruled on it. So that's interesting, because it's the request versus the individual.
Gotcha.
Whether or not hate crimes fall under it. Ellie says, I think antidepressants are iffy. Ellie's listening to the podcast. Should gender identity be added to anti-discrimination? I mean, there's literally so many policies here, but it's a very interesting thing to look at, because it's like, oh, this guy's got a lot of very interesting opinions. Now, I would love to look at that other candidate
Who? Mary Ann, is that her name? Or that
Marianne.
Or that
Also, I think it is interesting. It's got these top-rated candidates, and it's got integrity. It's got Ron Paul and Bernie Sanders in a lot of them, and then fucking Andrew Yang, my fucking guy, my guy, right here in Vision. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. I do find it interesting. I mean, also, like, Donald Trump is high on toughness. So what are we going to do here?
Emotional intelligence. These were interesting things in there. So yeah, I think everybody should check out this website, I Side With, and you can, pick your candidate and choose an election so that you can get the correct person up there. Very interesting. And check them out for all the candidates that are interesting to you or that you want to know more about. Because I mean, we're pretty early on, but not that early. We're just so it's just good to know what's coming, what people think, so that you can talk about it intelligently. I don't know, man. RFK, I just have so many mixed feelings about him. I really do. I just feel, like there's a part of me that understands, like, man, maybe he is being silenced in some way. I can see why people that, who really got on board with Trump and who think everything is a conspiracy would want to back this guy. And if you like anything you read about RFK, if you're whatever your social media preference is, and you read through the comments, what you hear endlessly is going, I'm a Republican and even I would vote for him, and that's pretty much all you see. So this is a Democrat that appeals to Republicans, to me. He says too many things that I find scary. And I also feel like he's too easily manipulated for me to believe that he could be an effective leader. I'm scared for him. I'm a little scared. But I do think he's a good person. And to me, that is one of those things that matters to me. Like I can look back, I think Obama was a good person. I think George W. was a good person. I think who was before that?
Bad VP though.
Bad VP
for George W.
Oh, I don't think he was a good person. No, he was savvy though.
Yes, it is interesting how often those two things come in opposite packages.
Yeah.
The overlap between good person and savviness seems to be a real problem.
Right. And that's what I think. I think RFK, I don't think he's savvy, man. I don't think he's savvy.
Fuck yeah, Patricia with the C. Gang. I mean, I think Andrew Yang's gotten worse, but that's just like the nature of being in the political arena, is that the savviness makes you seem worse because you've got to play the games. What are you going to do? Yeah, Obama was a good person. Obama's foreign diplomacy was so inconsistent and frustrating that it's all I can think about with him. And then just like, I mean, he got blamed so much for the Congress that he was stuck with. Man, Democratic voters sucked before I became a voter. Okay. You guys needed to vote in small elections better. What was going on before 2016? You were like, oh, we got a black president. America's done, baby. We killed it. We won the game. It's all good. So.
Yeah. And I voted a lot less, party line back then. I definitely would go with who felt right back then, because the divides didn't feel so huge as they do now. And it didn't feel like, oh, if my person lost, it didn't feel like the end of the world like it does now, and it has for the last several elections. And the people on the other side feel the same way. They feel like, oh, whatever we're feeling, they feel it too. Like if we feel like their candidate is racist, they feel like our candidate is racist. Whatever the issue is, they are fed the exact opposite information that we are fed. And I don't know what to do about that, but I guess listen to the words coming out of people's mouths and then see what they do after. I mean, okay, what is Marjorie Taylor Greene doing showing pictures of Hunter Biden on the floor of Congress nude? She was showing nudes on the floor of Congress. What is going on? And was she stopped or sanctioned in any way? No. Censured? She wasn't censured. No.
They've given up. There's these certain people that are in Congress right now that they've just all given up, on these members. It's just like, and yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, that Democrat that switched sides.
What's her name? I don't know. There's Cinnamon.
Kirsten Sinema. Yeah, Kirsten Sinema.
I just assume that her name's Cinnamon and she's a stripper, but it's not right.
No, that's Boebert. Boebert's the stripper.
Boebert's the stripper.
Matt Gaetz.
Gaetz.
Where they've just given up. And then the senator from California, who I cannot emphasize enough, is emblematic of the overall problem with the Democratic Party's policy that the evil that you know is better than the evil you don't know. Because, dude, we have a fully senile, we're keeping her alive.
Decrepitly old.
God. I mean, it's unbelievable she's still living. And she is holding up votes in the Senate. And she's the senator from California.
But I think somebody else is running against her.
Country.
I think there's another Democratic candidate against her this time, finally. So.
Yeah, but she should be removed by Congress. I mean, she should be removed now. And the fact that the Democratic Party can't even unite around that because it creates an idea of instability is emblematic of the problem of the entire system right now. That we cannot remove clearly unfit members of our party, real problem. I mean, the Republicans, that the Republicans want to remove Lauren Boebert. That they want to replace her with another Republican, right? Obviously. Yeah. But that these problem children they don't want them. That, what's his fucking name? The turtle man.
Oh, I just lost his name.
Not Newt Gingrich. I always get him confused because Newt is in Newt Gingrich's name.
The problem is the thing.
I know who it is. I can't believe nobody has said it yet, even though I know we had like a 10-second delay for them. The old speaker. What's his name? Yeah, we know. You know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that he does not want those two in there. Also, the whole Hunter Biden thing is crazy, right? I mean, I don't care. Over and over again, it's like I don't give a fuck about the children of the president at all. It's always these Republicans always try to make me give a fuck about the children of the president. Oh, Malia Obama was partying at Coachella. Yeah, she's 19. Okay, dude, Hunter Biden is a fucking dumbass.
You saw her at a toga party, didn't you?
Well, yeah, let's not talk about it, but yeah. But that was not a toga party.
I'm sorry, it was wear one item of clothing party.
No, don't say things like that. No, it was not.
No?
Oh. No.
3 items.
All I'll say is that I was handcuffed to Alan.
Oh.
But it was not. No, it was called Primal. It's good times. But the Secret Service is going to bust down my door right now. I just don't give a fuck about Hunter Biden. But also, it's gross. The way that they've piled onto him is just great. He's an addict. He is he's clearly unwell. There's a real chance that he should be prosecuted for actual crimes. I think that's real. I cannot believe the computer was real, by the way. It was, and that is so crazy that it was. Okay, Hunter Biden's a fucking idiot. But also, people are like, I can't believe that before the election they suppressed this information. I'm sorry, dude. It looked like a duck, it quacked like a duck, and it wasn't a duck. Hear me out. A fucking computer with all this information was left at a computer repair shop. Excuse me? That's not even a real shop. There's no computer repair shops. Those aren't real, okay? It was left there. Hunter Biden just didn't care about it, I guess. And then who got it? Rudy Giuliani? Yeah. that sounds like it's disinformation. The fact that it's real is way more surprising than it was planted by Republicans. Of course, people were suppressing it. Should they have been? It's a question. I think they should have been because it looks like Russian disinformation. This is the whole problem with all this information is like you can't fact check things fast enough. And the power of if that laptop was not real and everyone was reporting on it, and then we find out after the election that it wasn't real, the power that would have had on the election is there was no way to reverse it if it was Russian disinformation. So yeah, I know that we're not talking about that, but what the hell?
We talked about a lot of things we weren't talking about.
Trusted Kennedy.
There you go. Bring it back around.
What a weird hardline stance. Why? Kennedys are a diverse group of weird people that seem to be cursed.
They're pretty good.
I mean, like the biggest thing, when RFK said that he needs to be worried about being assassinated, the thing about it is like, well, it is true that everyone in your family dies in weird ways. So you're a little like, I mean, if anyone's getting assassinated, it's Kennedy's.
Yeah. Hopefully not RFK Jr., though.
Dude, I don't think they will because he's assassinated his own credibility. Maybe that's why he does this stuff. Maybe
keeping himself
does
alive
it because he doesn't want to die. And so he's like, I got to look crazy. I got to look crazy so they know there's no reason to kill me.
What was it?
Because I've undermined myself.
John F. Kennedy Jr., where his plane, it lost air pressure or something. Everybody just went to sleep on that airplane and then died. Yeah. All kinds of weird stuff. Leaving Martha's Vineyard or something.
I don't think it.
Something happened.
Sleep. When you lose pressure that way, it's about 3 seconds until you're unconscious.
Oh no!
There was a crash.
No, that thing was flying for like 23 minutes or something.
They keep flying. The planes are quite stable. They're like motorcycles. Like they keep themselves up there. There was actually a crash, I think a month ago, of a flight that actually a similar area, like leaving from Long Island, that crashed. It went over the White House, and so there were jets following it, but they couldn't contact the plane. It had lost cabin pressure, and it flew until it ran out of fuel. It flew for like 3.5 hours and crashed in Virginia. And it's just, you lose cabin pressure and you've got moments to put that thing on in order to restore air, or you just pass out and then you're a passenger in a vehicle that's going to just fly until you die. So yeah, you're unconscious or dead. You're unconscious or dead for hours in something that is impossible to
write. Okay. Huh. Crazy.
Oh, yeah. Patricia, remember when one of Bush's daughters got caught for underage drinking? I don't, because I was a child. But also, again, who cares, dude?
They've all done it, especially if they were teenagers in the White House. They all get rebellious and want to live, man.
It's a nightmare. That sounds terrible, dude. Yeah. I mean, yeah, no. Yeah, I liked Obama. I just wish there was someone that I could like. I mean, I'm thinking about the other candidates that could have beaten Biden, and everyone I think of has a real degree of dork factor, like Beto O'Rourke. But I'm like, dude, I just enjoy, I'd enjoy, because I do think, despite the fact that I think Beto O'Rourke is a dork and an opportunist, I do think he's a good person, right? Mm-hmm. I think Pete Buttigieg is smart and a good person and such a dork. It's a dork, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess if you can tap into your dorkiness and make it like a charisma-y dork, then it still works. Because you got to have some level of charisma. You have to.
Like Andrew Yang.
Charisma
personified, Mr. Yang. No, he's pretty fun. I like him. He's got like the dorky broiness where it's like the broiness doesn't throw you off. Brooke Bailey thinks Obama and George W. were good people. Yeah, I think that's going to be one of your more controversial takes. Uh-oh, is there a bat?
Apparently not controversial. I was trying to see. I got a picture around here of George W. But
W.
I don't know where it is. Somewhere around here, there's a George W. picture. Because we've met George W.
Yeah. You've still got a handprint on your back from it.
I do. He hits really hard. I'm telling you. Yeah. So he showed up to the thanks. My husband used to work at Camp David, and on Thanksgiving, the president and his wife were there, and they had lunch with everybody. Not lunch. Oh, like a Thanksgiving dinner, but it was early in the day. So and then he did photos with everybody, and yeah, he did photos and. I was apparently not moving along quickly enough during this photo, and I got a slap on the back from George W. There it is, from George W. To move me along.
I put it just on mine, so that's just me. Look at that guy.
See, Colin was a child at one point,
and he still looked 30. Isn't that crazy? Look at that! Look at that 30-year-old child. Dude, I kind of look like Pete Buttigieg in that. And then that got edited by friends to that photo of me having George W. as my son. Pretty good.
All right. Well, I think we have exhausted
talk about
this.
anything else? Yeah. We want to just have fun. I'm just waiting for Ellie to get back, and so I got nothing.
Your dad left too. He was going to go test drive. They have electric Jeeps apparently. He wanted to go test drive an electric Jeep. See what that's all about.
That's fun.
Yeah. Pretty fun.
What's the comparative mileage of an electric Jeep? Dude, he's going to end up with an electric Jeep. That's like right up Dad's alley.
He wants a Rivian, but I'm like, dang, that's a lot of money. Sorry, I'm just convinced that there's a picture of it.
It's a lot of money, but the value is actually above how much money it is.
What the heck is that? Sorry, I know there's a picture here somewhere of the president. President Bush. Oh well, doesn't matter.
Oh well.
I don't know.
Should we play some games? Should we?
Oh yeah, do you want to play some Geo Smusher?
Geo Smusher? Absolutely.
Yeah. Geo Smusher.
Maybe I should start my subscription back up.
Because we only get to play for a few minutes today.
Yeah, I only get to play for 5 minutes. Here, I gotta move my computer so I can actually see the screen.
You can't see the screen?
Yeah. I lift the computer up for when I'm on video. So that's a better angle. But then I can't see the screen behind it. Okay.
I'm convinced the picture's here somewhere.
I mean, it seems like it should be, yeah. All right, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, daily challenge. We've got a minute per. We're going to absolutely rip it. All right.
Okay, got to go fast. As I just yelled, Belgium. Everything's Belgium.
Okay, that's not Belgium.
Not Belgium. We got palm trees.
This is like Malaysia or
Thailand.
It's one of these ones. I mean, it looks. It's not quite like the text from
curly
here. Is it going to be like Laos? Is it lousy?
I don't know these real curly letters.
It looks kind of lousy, right?
Oh wait, what's this? Pyong. Below Cambodia, what's that?
Phnom Penh.
Yeah, that's got curly letters, doesn't it?
Yeah, that looks right. The problem is that it's got extra little squigglies under it, so that it's not. It might actually be.
Ashley thinks everything is Honduras.
I really think it's Laos.
Well, then pick it. Go with Laos.
All right, but we'll go south.
Then we got to hurry up.
Oh yeah. Sri Lanka.
Wow, they got curly letters in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh.
Clearly, I'm
okay.
Crazy.
Not enough information.
Okay.
Germany.
30. We're driving on the left.
Spain.
Oh wait, are we? I think we are. Yeah, we're driving on the left. This is. This is.
Oh, that's.
Is this that one place?
China.
No. What's that place called? Singapore.
Oh, I don't know.
It's got a Singaporeanness to it. But we need more than just that language for it to be Singapore.
Yellow license plates. Whatever
Dude,
that writing
it is China. Because it is just that. What the? Oh,
look at these tires.
yeah,
Why do we got
cool.
an extra set of wheels up there?
I think it's just a mess up by the.
I thought it was real. Okay.
Okay, I mean,
That's quite
I'm
the
going to be really
intersection.
frustrated when it ends up being Singapore, but I think it is China. I think we got to go like Beijing.
It doesn't look like a
Shanghai.
big enough city to be Beijing. Okay.
Oh, it's Japan. Okayama. Okay, 2 yellow
Honduras.
lines. This looks what?
I said Honduras.
Honduras? 2 yellow lines, which makes me think that it's America.
Oh,
But it could be South Africa.
we do have those types of power lines too. Let's see. Although a lot of places do. Do.
It's like house out. Yeah.
These houses look terrible. That looks like it could be an American.
Rio
island.
Lagrimas. It's Mexico.
Rio. That's the River of Tears. Where's the River of Tears?
Dude, it's right by Tuxtla. Damn it. Bolivia. Okay, driving on the right. 1 yellow line. This looks so much
Norway.
like what?
Norway.
Okay, so we're in the same. I was going to say like Denmark.
Finland.
Yeah, let's see what this says.
They like their tall houses.
Bona Vista.
Oh, that doesn't sound right.
No, it
It
does
could be
not.
anything. Oh, what's this
Maximum
building
30,
say?
Sunset Kitchen and Bath.
Are we in America? Maximum 30.
that's-
That looks weird.
It's 1 yellow line. Oh. I'm
Guam.
going to go Nova Scotia.
Oh, Nova Scotia. I like that. Nova Scotia.
Oh, dude, let's go. Let's go, dude. I mean, it wasn't that
That's
good,
pretty
but
close.
still.
What is that? Labrador? Where are we? No, not Labrador. That's a pirate.
Yeah, we're like way over here. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Okay. That was fun. Okay. Yellow. Driving on the left. This is England or Ireland.
Or Australia?
Australia.
No.
Yes, Mom. Absolutely absurd what you've said.
France?
Look at this guy.
Just looks like a dude.
That's a dude for
Looking
sure.
pretty chill. Oh, Stonehouse. Could be anything.
Scotland.
Could be Scotland. Look at how
everybody.
green the grass is. It could be Ireland. Look at how green it is.
Yeah, it is quite Irish. Could it be Cork?
I
Could
don't
this
know.
be Cork?
We can just call it Cork.
No, I think it's Northern Ireland. I've decided it's Northern Ireland. Oh yeah, that's for sure right by Banbridge. Isle of Man.
I don't think that's very far.
No,
66 miles.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Few results. Hey, not bad there. Not bad. All right, let's just do pro and have more fun. Let's just stop sharing screen for that.
You don't need to see all your personal information.
Ah!
I have no frogs right now. Frogless. They've all swam away. They've all turned into, oh, I guess that's not true. I don't have any tadpoles. They've all turned into frogs and hopped away. And I haven't seen a turtle in like a month. I think it's too hot here for turtles. They're
It's
all
not turtle
hiding.
season.
It's not turtle season. They're all hunkered down.
Dude, guess what I found out about recently? So, we just got like merchandise from a minor league team in northern Colorado. So the Orem
Okay.
Owls moved to northern Colorado, and I was looking it up. And this area of northern Colorado, like Pueblo, every year there's a tarantula migration. Like there's this week where there's just hordes of tarantulas like walking across the glen, and the thing about them is they're undistracted because they're going, it's like mating season. So the women will walk, female tarantulas will walk south and the males will walk north, and it's just until they meet another one and they're like, it's time to make more tarantulas. and it's just they'll run across your feet. They're like, well, I gotta go. It's time. So,
in Colorado?
In Colorado, it was insane to me. So yeah, Pueblo, the Great Tarantula Migration. So you're like, it's like, don't go to Pueblo during this, because
Or do go if you want to see a
great
migration.
tarantula migration, because I guess it's very simple to make sure that like you don't interact with them, because they'll stay low to the ground. So like if you're on a rock, it's like they're not gonna mess with that. So yeah, people will go there for it, but I guess the rest of the year it smells terrible, is what.
It smells terrible.
Yes, it's not a good
like
smell.
Cincinnati. Cincinnati has a smell. Doesn't smell great.
Okay, it's streaks time. Do we want to do country or U.S. state, or I don't want to do that one. Let's do countries.
Okay.
So the goal is to keep a streak alive of as many countries as we can. Whoa, this is looking Russian, but it doesn't have the one thing, the S of the Russians.
Is it one of those other similar to Russian?
Yes.
Is this the other? Is this?
Oh, it does have the S over here.
Okay.
Okay, so it could be Russia. Knepnaya.
What? Was that you reading the sign?
Yeah. Knepnaya. I'm right. You know I'm right.
Should we look around more? Or
is there a backwards R? Because I remember that is something specific. The backwards R is like Romania or something, or Moldova. Yeah.
Moldova. Yeah. Or we could be the Ukraine. We could be Crimea.
It could be Ukraine, Mom. And also Crimea is part of Ukraine.
Did I say the Ukraine?
You said the Ukraine.
My bad. Ukraine.
How you flag to people that you are Republican. It's a dog whistle, Mom. Can't be dog whistling. Is that a gamma?
I'm pretty anti-Russia. Or I'm anti-Putin.
Whoa. We can't just trust what you say, Mom. We've got to look for weird subtext. I don't know. It doesn't really look like Russia, right? Like, I mean, with these. Oh, Bulgaria? Is that right?
Dude, I don't know my flags. Where's your brother?
It's Bulgaria.
Let's go Romania. We'll say Bulgaria.
Bulgaria, baby. Your Bulgaria gang.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, man.
Oh, my Lord. This could be anywhere. What is this?
Lithuania for sure. That looks kind of Italian.
I
don't know why I just twisted around. Oh boy, this is going to be a nightmare.
Why is it so dusty?
Bag. Okay,
yes, it's a bag.
It's in the south, so we are in the northern hemisphere, which is not helpful. But I guess we're not in southern Africa, so that's good.
How do I know that?
Because
the sun is in the south.
The sun is in the southern hemisphere. The sun's in the south. Yeah.
So you know that you're pointed south right now?
Yeah, you can see it up here.
Okay, look at this.
Oh, I only have a minute. I didn't even realize there was a timer.
Oh.
Okay, I mean this could be Spain. This could be.
This
could really be anything. I would love just.
Can we look at the crops? Dirt.
How are there no signs?
Why they? Oh,
wine?
Wait, is it a vineyard?
Yeah. Which again, I mean, it could be Chile, it could be actually Chile's in the south. Portugal.
Wait, what hemisphere are we in?
Northern.
Okay.
Oh, there's a sign. Oh God. Metanodoto. It's Italian. Metanodoto.
I don't think that is Italian.
It's Italian. What's up, bro? What's up? I'm out here, okay? Gang.
Wait. Okay. Were we in Malta?
No. We were in. We're in Sicily.
Oh. I used to live on Sardinia. Oh,
Sardinia. Oh my God. If this isn't Uzbekistan.
There's an invisible car below us.
Yes.
With
Well, I'm going to cheat here, but it is what it is. If there's tape on one of these, then it's Nigeria, but there's not. Okay.
it's a weird vehicle.
Bro, it looks so Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, but who's to say?
We're just going to follow this vehicle because clearly we're on top of this vehicle.
Yeah, we're on the vehicle. Yeah.
This is, I don't know. Okay, let's look at we got a single dotted line.
Single dotted line. We're driving on the right. That's fun. Dude, could it be a more desolate place, honestly?
Right?
Ooh, animals.
Where? What kind of animals?
Cows.
Cows.
It is Uzbekistan.
Those ones are like practically in the street. It's Utah.
I don't think so.
I'm not saying I'm not saying that cows are in the street in Utah, but sometimes there's cows in the street. It looks like a Jetta, which tells us nothing. Jettas are everywhere. We have 35 seconds.
I haven't even looked at the sun. The sun is in the south. All right, fine.
More cows.
Okay.
I just want to say Utah, but I guess we have to do a whole country. But there's not enough information.
Kyrgyzstan or Uzbekistan.
Okay.
Mongolia.
There was no information.
There was no information.
Nothing.
That was terrible. I mean, I was on the right, longitude though. So, okay. It's the EU, I think.
Probably.
Northern Hemisphere.
We got some sumacs.
What are sumacs?
It's a tree. God,
where would those be, Mom?
Everywhere. Well, actually, I haven't seen one down here. Okay.
Romania? Serbia?
They're all regular letters, except that's got a little tilde on it. It's a little umlauts and scootly scoots.
It's definitely Bosnia and Herzegovina. Hungary? Hungary seems like it could be.
It could be Hungary.
We're going to guess Hungary for now, but we'll see if we can find anything else.
Oh, there's a sign over there. What's that say? Can we walk closer? It says a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, that is not English.
I don't know any other language.
Is this Turkey?
I mean, I don't know.
Is this where the earthquake happened? Oh, God.
It says "der" instead of "stop." Der.
Does that not feel like Turkey to you? That's so Turkey. It's crazy. There's like a little insma .tv. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. This is given like India or Pakistan or I don't
Turkey.
know.
It was Turkey.
Oh, did we forget to guess it?
I'm so good at this. No, I guessed it because I was pretty sure. So I'm unbelievable. I'm a god of this game. All right. Oh.
We're in the water.
Like Denmark. Iceland.
I don't have.
We're on a boat, bro.
Why are we on a boat? Why are we on a boat? Can we get closer to some other boats?
This is like where I want to go on my honeymoon.
Okay, but can you move the boat around?
I guess theoretically. I guess.
Shouldn't you go the other way?
I can only go in one direction. I think that this is those islands,
The Aleutians. I don't know.
Oh, can I go up? No, I can't go up. But there's text. Uh-oh.
Are those curly letters? I can't read that junk.
Yeah, I can't really read it. Is there anything down here that would be helpful?
Is there a flag on a boat?
Mariner. Flag on a boat. I see not a flag, but a country. Oh, shit.
What the heck is that?
Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck, I should know it. Oh, no. Oh, I should know it. I don't know it. It's not Greenland, is it? That would be crazy. Iceland. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, I'm so screwed. It's crazy. Oh, what could it be?
I don't know.
Oh, we're gonna feel so stupid. It's gonna be something obvious.
Is it? I definitely don't know what that flag is.
Nepal? Is that one Nepal?
No, Nepal's that like double triangle flag.
No, yeah, you're right. Oh no, I can't get it. That's not that flag. Maybe
they weren't from here.
I said Denmark in the very beginning. God, I'm so dumb. That
was Greenland, though.
Yeah, but it's part of Denmark.
Oh,
Greenland is Denmark. We keep trying to buy it from them.
Yeah. Okay, we got some European signs. Let's see.
See if we can talk to this guy. Where are we, sir?
There's a sign. Oh, yeah. Whoop, yeah. Whoop, whoop. How do they spell stop? Is it der? Because then we're in Turkey.
This is der. We're definitely in Turkey.
It says stop.
Stop. Okay.
That could be anything. Well, except Turkey.
Mahatma Gandhi Drive.
Okay.
I feel like this is not India. I do not think it is India. But it could be.
It could be. I don't know. Let's look at this buildings that we're just flying by. Oh, can we go that way?
I want to, but I'm struggling. Fukteva.
Okay.
All right.
We got standard like English lettering.
Yeah. This sucks.
I mean, there was stuff to look at, and you're just, how do we get over there?
We can't. This isn't a real car I can drive.
That's where all the good stuff is. Oh. They've already blurred out their car. Something guard. Yeah, on guard. A couple of dudes. Botswana.
You're kidding me. It was bots? Ugh.
I'm sorry. Was there some clue that was Botswana?
No.
Oh.
All right. Well, that sucked.
Okay.
All right. Well, we had fun.
Yep, we did.
Thank you guys for joining. Hopefully we've effectively alienated all of you with our opinions.
I like that there were so many opinions today. I was whoa, what's going on?
Dude, people I can't believe how pro Biden this group is.
Well, not everybody.
Really misappropriate our audience.
Yes. I just think he's doing well enough that I don't.
Well, but he's so old, he's gonna die, dude.
Okay, but do you think that if Kamala Harris became president, that she's just gonna do some cuckoo stuff, or that she's just gonna be regular?
No, but I don't think that we should be electing people that might be on their deathbed soon.
I don't know if he's on his deathbed, but admittedly, there's just, you're one illness away from everything turning south, but he seems okay right now. He enjoys his ice cream cones and his little bike rides. No, I don't know if he bike rides a bike. What does he do? Does he take little jogs? I don't know.
Who knows?
He's still ambulatory.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just think that we should elect someone better.
I mean, if the goal was to legitimately elect the best person for the job, that person is never in the running. You know, they're just not there.
Yes, but there are better people in the running, man. I think Biden.
Are there
I don't know.
in the running?
No, not right now, because of how the system's fucked, right? The fact that the Democrats won't let good candidates run.
I
But
feel the way a
Biden
lot.
should have done
That was something,
what
you know
he
what?
said he was going to do, which is not run again.
Yeah. There was, I did listen to RFK Jr. say something about kingmakers, you know, and that, you know, basically somebody else, if he didn't run and he just let the kingmakers decide, you know, it takes away from our democracy on a certain level in his mind. And so that's why he's running, even though, you know, they don't want anybody to necessarily run against Biden.
Yeah.
They don't want a Democrat to challenge it. And I do feel a certain way about kingmakers, because that's how I felt about, you know, what happened on Super Tuesday. So a decision was made and it had nothing to do with us. So anyway.
Oh, well. Okay. See you guys.
Thanks for keeping us company. We'll see you next week. Who knows what we'll talk about? Who knows?
Yeah, probably something.
Probably something. Thank you for that. You can like, you can subscribe, you could throw a comment in, and maybe we'll answer it. Who knows? Maybe.
On the bus. Mike is riding on the bus.
On the bus!
Mike's on the bus. Mike on the bus. Mike on the bus. Mike on the bus.
Yeah.
Get down with Mike on the bus. It's time to get down with Mike on the bus. Rolling down the road with Mike on the bus. On the bus with Mike on the bus.
We have problems.
You're watching Owl Rock and
And this is my theme song.